Hello and welcome. Today, we have several interesting stories which include one about an entitled boyfriend who cheats on his pregnant girlfriend and gives her herpes. Sit back, relax and enjoy.
First story.
Am I the idiot for telling my husband his friend thought I was too ugly for him even though that's not what he saith? I've been with my husband since we were teens and he's always been open about the fact that his lifestyle would have been completely different had we not met at such a young age and if our circumstances had been different. His friend, Jake, likes to joke about how I was lucky I met my husband when I did. I usually don't take it personally, but he brought it up while my husband wasn't within earshot and he made a point to tell me how he didn't think we would have ended up married if we met as adults. When I asked him why, he told me that if I was being honest with myself I could see my husband was the type to date a bunch of models before bagging himself a trophy wife at 45. He knew I was offended because he tried to turn the conversation around by saying I was too smart to just be a trophy wife and that my husband wouldn't have been my type if I met him as an adult either because he was a bit of a dick. I told my husband that Jake thinks I'm too ugly for him after making him promise not to say anything to him. I did go into more detail about the conversation and my husband didn't seem that upset before we went to bed. He even jokingly asked me if I was trying to fish for compliments. He never said anything to Jake until they had a boys' night, which is when he blew up at him. I don't know what happened exactly, but apparently it was bad and my husband was really angry with Jake for calling me ugly, which Jake denies. Jake's accusing me of trying to cause issues between them by lying since he didn't say I was ugly even once. I know he's been calling me both insecure and vain behind my back to their friends. I did try to explain what exactly happened to my husband, but it only makes him angrier at Jake every time I bring it up. Am I the idiot? The top replies. He knew the implication was that you are no model and tried to make things right. Not the idiot, but he is a huge one. Who would say such hurtful things to a friend's wife? Just because he didn't say the word ugly doesn't mean that isn't what he was saying. Edit. Also, your husband is mad not just because of the insult to you, but he was also insulted by Jake. What does that say about what he thinks about your husband that he would only marry for looks after sleeping with tons of women? What a dick thing to say. The second reply. Not the idiot. You handled this really well. Jake is the idiot here. There's absolutely no reason he should have said what he did. What did he hope to prove, or get out of the conversation? It seems like Jake doesn't want you to be together, and he's trying to sow the seeds of doubt. The third reply. Not the idiot. People are focusing on the fact that Jake did not actually say ugly, but context is everything. You knew the context, so I don't think you misrepresented what he said. Also, if I had to guess, your husband probably blew up on him because he sees you for more than physical beauty. He sees the person and not the package, if that makes sense. Jake probably mentioned his opinion in a very nonchalant manner. In a way your husband would normally ignore but couldn't after knowing how he spoke to you. You did nothing wrong, and to be quite frank, Jake sounds like a terrible friend. Second story. I, female 32, was cheated on by my partner, male 40. While I was pregnant, and he did it with no condom. I'm called dramatic about 9 months ago. I, female 32, was 6 months pregnant, when my partner, M40, told me he had recently cheated on me without a condom with a 27-year-old woman with herpes. She is the girlfriend of a bandmate of the band he is in. The band member knows and doesn't really care as they have an on/off relationship, I guess. He and I have been together for 5 years. I had hyperemesis gravidarum my whole pregnancy. I was in the several times. I lost 20 pounds. I am still underweight, with an underweight BMI. He won't block her, he won't stop playing with the band. He won't give me any access to money except a little here and there to get by. He lives in my house that I own and pays the gas bill and things for our son. I will be returning to work soon as I have no money now. I am a realtor, so I hope I will be able to get work soon. I am high functioning. I work out, cook, keep this house clean. I breastfed exclusively for months even when I desperately needed a break. He wouldn't let me have a break to give him organic formula even once until he was 4 months old. He hates me and I don't know why. He literally tells me my tears are fake. I have literally done all of the sleepless nights except maybe 10 times. I sleep alone with the baby and he sleeps in a separate room, and I worked retail during the holidays and Black Friday to make money for gifts. It's never enough. This morning he called me crazy and psycho for again sobbing about everything. I finally broke down for real and called his sister, who is 45 and has kids and recently went through a difficult divorce, and she is understanding and supportive and doesn't think I am crazy. I am not trying to put her in the middle of this, but she knows we are struggling and said she would talk to him. He still goes out, plays music. I haven't socialized once basically in a year and a half. My self-respect is gone. But he's a good father. He thinks I am immature about the Instagram stuff. Why won't he block her? He cheated on me when I was pregnant. How is that just jealousy? Of course I am jealous. I feel desperate. The top replies, "Friend, it's time to go. He can be a good father from somewhere else. Also, as an aside, remember the relationship you're in is the model for what your baby will think is normal in their adult life. If you wouldn't want this for them, do not accept it for yourself." The second reply, "He cheated. He won't let you. He hates me. Why do you still want him? I get he's the father of your child, but this is not a healthy relationship. Would you be ecstatic if your son turned out exactly like him? Would you be proud of your son if he treated anyone as you're being treated? Because he will if you stay. I left because I had kids." The third reply, "Since the people around you seem to be hiding the truth from you, let me assure you that he doesn't love, cherish or respect you, and he is not worth your time or effort. He will not be a good father and example for your son. Him blocking this chick will not change anything. You deserve peace of mind and happiness, and he won't give you any of that." Third story. Am I the idiot for demanding my girlfriend tells me her author's pen name? I've, male 32, been dating Siobhan, female 32, for 6 months now. She's always been very vague about what she does for a living. Sutty things like writing and working from home writing. But recently, one of her friends mentioned something and I finally dragged it out of her.
She's an author. She writes and self-published romance and erotica stories and novels, and while not rich, she's able to make a living out of it. I googled her name and couldn't find anything, so I confronted her about this. She said she's writing under a pen name, so I demanded she gives it to me so I know what she does. She refuses, saying she doesn't want it to be leaked even by accident and no one knows. I accused her of not trusting me and she still refused, which was really annoying. I tried nicer approach and told her that I want to know her fantasies so I can try it out with her, and she told me that what she writes aren't her fantasies but her readers, and she's still not going to tell me. At night I tried to check her laptop for her pen name, but she changed her password before bed.
I was annoyed and told her she clearly doesn't trust me and it's not fair because I have a right to know what she writes, especially since it's a sensitive topic and I don't know her if I don't know her pen name. She was furious. I tried to look on her laptop and told me to go home. Before leaving I told her when she calls to apologize, I expect to get her pen name with the apology. She called me an idiot on my way out. I thought she'd call by now, but she hasn't. My sister told me I was the idiot and I should apologize, but I just don't see it in need. Second opinion. Was I the idiot? The top replies, "If it was me, I would never divulge that information to him after the way he behaved. Hopefully, she's just done with him now. How creepy to become obsessed with her writing to the point of going behind her back. He must be delusional to demand an apology when he is the one behaving badly and then add insult to injury by making the ridiculous demand for the information she already said she wasn't giving in order to accept the apology he isn't owed. Seems to me he's big time insecure about her knowledge of erotica and only wants to read what she writes to have more leverage to make power moves like the one he tried and failed to pull off here." The second reply, "You are the idiot with bells on. She wants to write erotica from the safety of anonymity. You don't get to remove that. You're a double idiot for expecting an apology. If she were here, half the sub, more like 95%, would be urging her to dump your controlling ass that would probably dox her in the event of a messy breakup. The third reply. You are the idiot, and I hope she doesn't ever call you again. She has very good reasons to not trust you. You were manipulative when you tried to lie about wanting to try out her fantasies. You then tried to violate her privacy by looking in her laptop. And you were definitely judgy about what she does. And the pièce de résistance? You think she's going to be sorry that you left. She's probably grateful, not sorry. Fourth story. Am I the idiot for asking my anesthesiologist if he was effing blind, and then snapping at the nurse? I, 25 female, am a natural ginger. Not only do I have red hair, but I also have blue eyes, pale skin, freckles, you know, the whole genetic shindig. Anyways, recently I had a surgery, then ended up being fine in the end. However, the moments before and after the operation is where this conflict occurs. If you don't know, natural redheads require more anesthesia to be knocked out. And no, for all you healthcare workers who want to call me stupid and gaslight me, this is not something that I discovered on WebMD or some Facebook group. This is a proven fact with medical evidence from reliable scientific journals. So I'm wheeled into the operating room and given the anesthesia via IV, and the anesthesiologist, who has seemed cold to me from the start, asked me to count backwards from 100. I made it to something like 80, before he started asking me if I was trying to somehow fight the anesthesia. I said no, that it's just going to take longer for me. And here is where things got sour. He asked me what exactly I was doing to not be knocked out, and I insisted that I wasn't doing anything. He continued to berate me and at one point said that the surgery would be taking place whether I fall asleep or not, so I better comply. I lost my mind at his accusations, so here I said, "Are you effing blind? I'm a ginger. Biologically I need more of that mind to fall asleep. How about you try that instead of berating me before I get cut open?" He scoffed, but eventually did decide to give me more, and, well, what do you know? It worked. When I came to, there was this nurse that was going in and out of my room, who kept glaring at me. I honestly didn't know what her issue was. Later, when she realized that I was more coherent, she decided to reprimand me as well. She called me disrespectful for speaking to the anesthesiologist in that way, and all he wanted for me was to have a good outcome for the surgery. She also told me that I wasn't a healthcare worker, so my hair color theory had no grounds in reality. I was livid and snapped at her, saying that he was the one being disrespectful for his baseless accusations and threat, and that she should go read a book about this in the medical journal, so that the next patient won't have to deal with not being believed. She kept quiet afterwards, so I was alone for this surgery, but I did get my older sister to drive me home. When I explained to her about the thing that went down, she understood why I was angry at the anesthesiologist and the nurse, but that it didn't change the fact I was still disrespectful to two people who were trying to help me and take care of me, and that made me the idiot. Now I'm not so sure. Am I the idiot? Reddit? Top replies. Not the idiot. You were right about redheads needing more anesthesia, about 20% more. Since he is supposed to be an expert at his job, he should know that. You are 100% in the right to snap at him for accusing you of fighting it. How the hell do you fight anesthesia anyway? The guy sounds like a moron. The nurse is an idiot for berating you. You are a grown adult and a customer of the hospital. You did nothing wrong except defend yourself when you, in a very vulnerable position, were being accused of something while laying on the operating system. I would ask to speak to a hospital admin and file a formal complaint against the two of them. The second reply. Not the idiot. Baselessly accusing someone is a great way to piss them off and get this exact outcome. It doesn't matter if they were trying to help, they were doing it in the absolute worst way possible. I would also be making a complaint to the hospital about his "this will happen whether you are awake or not" comment. The third reply. NTA also, natural redhead here. It's true. We need more. No one questions when someone with a bigger body mass needs more to be knocked out. But when it's about the redheads, you are lying. Even going to the dentist is always stressful. My mom, when she was a kid, woke up in the middle of kidney surgery because they didn't give her enough. Afraid of hospitals ever since it's highly unprofessional. We have this genes, and it's not our fault. Some people can't imagine that some bodies react to medicaments differently. They need to learn more before judging.